Okay, we're taking a look inside the 1960s Cragstan talking robot. This is the talking mechanism. In this particular case, the mechanism is sent to me. I could hear things rattling around inside the robot, and it ended up being this piece of plastic and this piece of plastic which hold the motor in place. They were broken off somehow and rattling around inside the robot, so nothing was really holding the motor in place. Plus there was a factory, remember this was like 50 years ago, cold solder connection here on the motor, here on this wiper switch, and another one on the battery box. The main place where you're losing power, by the way, the battery box is a single D cell, so this whole thing runs on 1.5 volts. The main reason that the motor was running sluggish and real slow when the owner sent it to me, because these two contacts you see here go inside, and on this shaft there's a brass ring, and when this record is playing it gets pushed back. So when that gets pushed back, that brass ring contacts these two wipers, and that's what gives power to the motor. When the record has completed a phrase, it moves back forward like you see it now. That moves that brass ring away from the contact, so the motor turns off. Well, the brass ring was so corroded, dark, that it barely was conducting electricity. The motor would barely run. There's also a small hole right here in the motor that once you get it running, you can spray contact cleaner into to clean the brushes and get it going. The other big problem with these talking mechanisms is when they get this old, 50 years plus, is anything that was greased or lubed, the grease and lube usually is dried up. For example, the shaft that spins for the record here, and there's another place inside, needed to be oiled in order to work, and because they were all firmed up. And the same was true with the needle and arm that move. They were so gummed up. And so the idea is when you push this back, now there are 4 phrases which will come up randomly.
I am a mighty man with 1 million horsepower of energy inside me. Do you get me now? I am the atomic. I am the atomic. I'm leaving now to explore the outer limits, boys. Goodbye. See you again.
There's no way to force it to play a specific phrase. So that's basically the way the mechanism is going to operate. This is the on-off switch on the back, and basically by moving it over, what you're doing is stopping this from being able to push the record back to start to play. Just keeps that shaft from moving back. Mechanical lock. As far as if you ever have to get inside one of these, there's black side panel pieces here. The halves would go together, the bottom would be off. You put the black side panels in, then you reach in through the open bottom, you bend all these tabs to hold it together. Once those are all together, then you put the bottom piece on. It has tabs. It has tabs which you bend, and the black side panels have pieces that you fold over, which then connect into these tab slots. So the way to look at it is to take it apart. The first thing you want to do is to undo the side panel tabs in the bottom, straighten that metal out, undo the 5 tabs that go into the base, straighten those out, remove the base, then you reach inside the shell and undo the other bent tabs to split the halves in order to get into the whole mechanism.